Hi boys and girls, my name is Miss Erika and I'm going to lead you through some storytime yoga. Today we're going to read the book Yoga Bunny and it's by Brian Russo. Before we begin reading though, I am going to introduce a few poses to you. Some of them might be new and some of them you might have heard of before or they might have a different name. So you can follow along, try your best at home. You don't need anything. You don't even need a yoga mat. All you need is a good attitude, a smile, and just try your best. Okay? So the first pose we're going to learn that will be one of the characters in our story is bunny pose. And this is one of my favorites because it's nice and relaxing. And it's a good way to get your yoga practice started. So you can be on a mat or on the carpeting or any place where your knees aren't going to get hurt. And for bunny pose, we're going to pretend a little bit like we're a sleeping bunny. So you can come to your knees and then begin to fold over your thighs and rest your forehead on the floor or the mat. And then bring your hands behind you. You can let your shoulders relax. And take a few breaths here. So I'm going to come up. You guys can stay in your bunny pose. Whenever you're in a pose, you can hold the pose for about 5 rounds of breath. That means you're going to breathe in and out about 5 times. And this is a nice calming pose. So once again, it's a great way to get your practice started in bunny pose. And we'll see bunny a lot in our book. So stay here for one more cycle through a breath. A nice big in and out. Nice. And then you can slowly come up into the light. Your little bunny is waking up. The next pose we're going to learn is a lizard pose. Lizard is going to be one of the characters in our story as well. So lizards are a bit low to the ground and they move their legs rather quickly, and we're going to kind of be like a lizard that's frozen in action. So for lizard pose, you can bring one foot forward and you can keep your back knee up or you can drop it down. And this is lizard pose. If you want a bit more, like maybe you'd like to feel a little more sensation in your legs, then you can kind of scooch that back knee back towards the mat and lean forward a bit. And you don't want to force anything. If this starts to hurt, then just come up out of it. This is lizard pose. Now, if we do one leg forward, we always have to do the other side. So you can either, there's a couple ways to do this. You can either step up or step your other foot back and then just switch it up. And you can leave your back knee up or you can rest it on the mat. That sometimes feels a bit better. And this is lizard pose. And we'll stay here for a couple more cycles through a breath. You can pretend you're a lizard sunning himself on a rock or getting ready to scurry through the leaves or across the sand or the forest. Good. Now we're going to step back and then bring our knees to the earth again. And we're ready for our next pose, which is going to be fox pose. Now, fox is another character that's going to be in our story. And foxes are quite quick. They like to run and sniff. They're always on the alert for something to maybe snack on. So for fox pose, we're going to be standing up. So take your time coming up. And we're going to bring our feet together and bend our knees like we're about to pounce on maybe a little snack. Your hands can stay here or they can reach out like you're going to be sniffing for something. Maybe even bring your hands up towards your head like you have little fox ears. Maybe you're looking around for something. Ooh, did you see something scurry into the grass? Maybe you get a little bit lower, getting ready to pounce. Stay here for one more round of breath. Good. Ooh, those foxes must have strong legs. I can feel that one. All right, our next pose that we're going to learn is Bird pose. So bird is another character, and this is a nice balancing pose. You're going to be flying like a bird. This is one where we're going to stand on one leg. And whenever we're balancing, it can be tricky. You might wobble around a little bit, and that's okay. If you look at something that isn't moving, maybe you see something on the ground a little bit in front of you that you can focus on, that will help you keep your balance. So whenever I start off in bird pose, I have both feet on the ground first. Then I might lift up one leg, get my balance, and then when I'm ready, I'm going to extend my leg back for bird pose. Now, your bird wings might be out here like you're flying. Maybe you flap them a bit. Maybe they're behind you like you're soaring through the clouds. Or maybe they come in front of you. When you're ready, take a final round of breath. And then you're going to come back up, put your foot down, shake that out a little bit. And then since it's a one-legged pose, we have to do the other side. When you're ready, your opposite foot is going to ground down. That means it's really sealing into the mat or the floor. Your opposite leg will bend and then reach it back when you're ready. Maybe you try something different on this side. Maybe you make a little tweeting noise. What would your birds sound like when they're flying through the air? Take one more cycle of breath here. And then come up. Good job. Way to go. All right. Another pose we're going to learn is tree pose. Now we learned about all these animals. We had bunny, we had lizard, and then fox and bird. And all of these animals are somehow going to make some yoga poses. We'll have to read to find out how. But for tree pose, this is one of the poses the animals will learn too. You're going to balance on one foot. It helps to bring your hands to your heart for a little bit of center, or you can bring them to your hips too. Lift up one knee, and then you can kind of scoot your knee out to the side. Your foot can press into your ankle, into your calf. You just want to keep your foot away from your knee joint. This is your knee, and we don't want to put our foot on the inside of our knee. So it can come to your ankle or calf, or maybe you give it a little boost and bring it up towards your thigh. And you might fall out a little bit, and that's okay. You just get back up into it. So hold this tree pose on this side for a few rounds of breath. Maybe you grow your branches. Maybe you sway in the wind a little bit. When you're done on this side, you'll bring that foot down, shake out your hips, shake out your feet, and then do the opposite side. I'll take it a little bit lower down on this side. Usually there's one side that's a little bit easier or harder than the other. Grow your branches. If you want a little extra challenge, maybe you look up, pretend you're looking up at the sky, the sun is shining down on you. Maybe that little bird we did before came into your tree and they're tweeting or making a nest in your tree. And when you're done, come out of your tree pose. Shake that up. Beautiful. Okay, the next pose that the animals will learn is called Warrior One. In Sanskrit, it can also be called Virabhadrasana One. It's a special name. So for Warrior One pose, we're going to step one foot forward, step your other foot back, and it can be at a little bit of an angle. So your back foot, those toes are going to point towards the top corner, or a little bit of a diagonal up in front of you. Your front knee is bent, and then when you're ready, your arms are going to reach up like you're a strong warrior. Find some nice deep breaths here. Good, and then we're going to bring our hands down. You can just step your back foot up to meet the front, and then your opposite foot is going to step back. We have to do it on the opposite side. When you're ready, your arms reach up. One more breath. Good breathing. And then you're going to step up, and that's Warrior One. And the last pose we're going to learn, I bet you already know this one. It's called downward facing dog. So we'll bring our hands to the mat. You can bring your knees to the mat too. Then tuck your toes under. And when you're ready, you're going to send your hips up and back. And you're making an upside down V with your body. And your head and neck can just hang heavy. You don't need to look around. That can hurt your neck. Just look back at your toes or your knees. Good. Nice. Now, we learned so many new poses today. Now we're going to read our story and put the poses into action. So I'm going to read the story. While I'm reading, you will listen, and I'll give you a few moments when you get to each pose, and you can come into that pose to follow along with the story. Kind of like you're putting the story to life. All right, I'll get a little bit closer so you can see the pictures. And once again, this is called Yoga Bunny, and it is by Brian Russo. Now, if you need to get a little drink of water or go use the bathroom, go do it now before we start so that you can have all of your energy and concentration on doing these yoga poses. The inside flap has lots of cool bunny yoga poses as well. Here is Yoga Bunny. Ooh, that pose looks kind of familiar. One morning, Bunny crawled out of his hole, rubbed his eyes, and let out a big yawn. This is a perfect morning to do yoga, he said. Now would be a great time. You're going to be a little bunny. Remember bunny poses where you're on your knees, your forehead is down, and your hands can reach back towards your toes. And give a few bunny breaths here. And your bunny is waking up. Bunny dropped his head and arms down toward his feet. Can you do that now? Coming into a forward fold. So little bunnies are going to drop their hands down towards their feet. And just then, Lizard came walking by. Ooh, here comes Lizard. Now is the time to get into lizard pose. One foot is forward and one foot is back. Your front knee is bent. Take a few breaths in lizard pose, and then it'll be time to switch legs. Good morning, Lizard, said Bunny. Would you like to do yoga with me? Wonder what Lizard will say. I don't like anything about mornings. I wish I could go back to bed, Lizard replied angrily. Sounds like he might need some yoga. And with that, Lizard stomped away. If you have not switched legs in your lizard pose, now's the time to do it. Maybe you could pretend like you're stomping away then as well. Bunny was so disappointed, but he took a deep breath. We can do that too. He placed his hands on the ground and stepped backward and lifted his hips high up in the air, coming into downward facing dog. Ooh, that's one of the poses we practice. Make your body into an upside down V. His friend Fox came hurrying by. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Here comes hurrying Fox. So Fox was when we had our knees bent. Your hands can be in front of your heart or reaching up over you, like you're ready to pounce. I wonder where he's hurrying to. He was moving so fast he startled Bunny. Out of my way, Bunny, he said. I'm in a very big rush. Maybe you could take a minute and do this yoga pose with me, Bunny suggested. It might help you slow down. Do we think Fox is going to slow down to do downward facing dog with Yoga Bunny? Oh, I don't know. No thanks, Fox replied. I'd rather be in a big rush than do something so silly. And he hurried away. Wonder which animal will be meeting Bunny next. Bunny felt a little bit sad, but he took a deep breath. He stood up tall, placed his hands in front of his heart, and balanced on one foot. coming into tree pose. Ooh, we practiced this. Finding your balance on one foot and then bring your other foot to the inside of your leg. Stay away from your knee. Just then, bird flew down, landing right on Bunny's head. Ooh, maybe you can pretend like a bird is landing on your head as you're in tree pose. Hiccup! I have a bad case of the hiccups, and I've tried everything to stop them, said Bird. Wonder if there's a way that Yoga Bunny could help Bird stop his hiccups. If you haven't switched legs, go ahead and do it in tree pose. Well, Bunny said, maybe you can do this tree pose with me. It can calm you down, and that might help you with your hiccup. No way, Bird said. I'd rather live with these hiccups than stand on one leg. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? And with that, Bird flew away. Will anyone ever want to do yoga with me? Bunny wondered aloud, but then he reminded himself that doing yoga alone is better than not doing yoga at all. Just as Bunny took a deep breath, stepped back, bent his front leg, and reached his arms way up, coming into warrior pose. Ooh, this is what we did earlier. Two little mice soon came walking by. So come into your warrior one pose. One leg is bent. The other leg is stepping back and your arms can be up over your head. I wonder what the mice will do. Are they going to join in that warrior pose? They're saying, "What do you think he's reaching for?" whispered one of the mice. "I don't know, but it must be very valuable. We'd better reach for it too." Ooh, the mice are going to try it too. Look at that. And so the mice stepped back, bent their front legs, and reached their arms way up, coming into warrior pose, just like Bunny. Oh, finally, some animals are doing it with them. As they had their arms stretched way up and their eyes toward the sky, they noticed Bird flying by. Now here comes Bird again. I wonder if he is going to join along too, or if he's going to be thinking that it's too silly again. Bird still had the hiccups, but he came down to join them, pressing his wings together in front of his heart, lifting up one leg, coming into tree pose, just like Bunny and the mice. Can you go back into tree pose? All of a sudden, they heard a loud noise. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh boy, Fox is moving fast. I don't know if he's going to join or just run on by. What do you think? Fox came hurrying by and saw the friends standing in a circle, and he pressed his hands to the ground, stepped back, and lifted his hips, coming into downward dog. Ooh, now's your time to come into downward dog, just like Bunny, the mice, and Bird. You can pretend like you are with them right now. Bunny took a deep breath and lay down flat on his back, coming into resting pose. So now you can come onto your back wherever you are. Let your legs stretch out and your hands come along your sides. Then Lizard came walking back and lay down just like Bunny. All the animals that were too rushed or thought it was silly before all came back and they're joining in to do yoga with Bunny. Bunny was so happy his friends had joined him that he opened his mouth and let out a big Om. Can you do that with me? Om. You can do it as many times as you would like. Everyone else did the same. You can pretend like you're laying there with the other animals. I know where I'm supposed to be, said Fox. Not so angry anymore. It is here. Thank you, Yoga Bunny. Thank you so much for reading along with me and making that story come to life with your yoga poses. You can stay laying on the ground as long as you like. Maybe you take a few more ohms. You can bring one hand to your belly. Just feel it rise and fall with your breath as you lay and rest. Think about laying in the sun with Bunny and all of his friends. Have a